New day. So there's the new throttle body. All these pipes will get polished up again, mounted properly. This intake stuff, I'm waiting on a 90. Sweep that down for my air filter. I'll get the MAF installed in here somewhere, the MAF sensor. Get that welded in. And I'm still waiting for the different fittings to run my lines a different way. Got the exhaust sitting there. So I know where not to put them. The breather is going to go right down in here. You can kind of see it down there. It's going to sit right in here. And then I've got my new situation for the water neck, which I'm going to hook up right there. And I'm going to glue that thing on there. Some real hardcore glue that I got. Used for basically bonding cars together and stuff like that. Here's the vent system that tucks in behind here when it's all done. And I kind of had to reroute the fuel line. It did tuck under there, but it'll come up here now. I had these pieces to extend that out. I'm just going to paint those black. And then that water hose, I got to get the right length, but that'll plug up there into there. And give me the clearance I need right here for the waterfall. And that's what I'm doing right now. So there's my new bearing, 33 spline instead of the 30. And then a different axle stub, which will fit a 930 Porsche CV. That's the same as the transaxle. And once I get those bolted in, I'll get the measurements, get me some axles made. I already got one side done. Everything lines up. It's got the same speed sensor as the stock bearing. So I should be able to still use my traction control, which I've never used yet. Do a little progress update here. Got everything's hooked up on this end. Got the intake tube hooked up. Mass airflow sensor hooked up. All the fuel lines. There's the catch can lines right here. So that'll be my breather. It's hooked up right in here, which will vent out this area. Transmission's all bolted up. Shifting cables are bolted up. Got the headers on there. I don't think I showed that. The plugs are in, gapped. Plug wires are on. And I've got the bigger pulley on here. And water lines are hooked up. I'll go to the other side here. This place is a mess. Oh yeah, that's right. I've got the firewall in there. It's all dirty. And the pieces that go over the tank are bolted in on each side. So I've had the interior pieces in here doing kind of a final fitting for the waterfall, which I've had to cut apart. For some reason I didn't compensate for the tensioner. When I built that thing, I didn't mock it up with the tensioner on there. Anyways, I got to redo that. There's the steam lines snake through there, hooked up, all four corners. Fuel lines are stuffed in there. And that's what I ended up with. I just glued that neck on there. I'm sure that's going to be strong enough, but if it ain't, it'll bust off and leak water everywhere, and I'll have to do something else. I think that'll be good though. Pretty much got all the wiring done, I believe. So all that's tucked back in there. There's wires over there, but that's for the stereo amplifier processor. I've got the wires ran up by the gauges for my shift light. So I got a little bit of wiring left to do up underneath the dash. And the rest of the wiring is pretty much tucked up and done. Like in the back where all those wires were hanging. So that's where I'm at. Next, I think I'm gonna get the exhaust up there. I gotta make a new mount for the rear of the exhaust hanger. So that's what's next. And then, you know, I gotta put fluids in it. Trans fluid, intercooler fluid, antifreeze for the water system. And a little bit of wiring left on the fuel pump. Connect those wires, put some fuel in it. And I think I'm about ready to fire this thing off. I don't even know if it'll run. I don't know what it's going to do with those different injectors in there. I'm not worried about revving it up, but I'd like it to idle. We'll be able to check a few things as far as leaks, bleed the systems and all that. Well, it's just kind of idling, so that's what I'm going for. I got everything complete. Got oil in the supercharger. Got water in the intercooler. It's kind of hard to get that pump primed, but I finally got that going. And got fuel in the tank. Had a couple of leaks I had to take care of. So everything's hooked up, ready to go. So I've got the spark plugs out, the wires off of them. Plugs are in, wires are off. And I'm just going to turn it over a bit. I've never had it turned over on the starter before, so make sure that's good. See if we build oil pressure. Got axles on the way. Should be here in a few days. So we're getting close. So on to the next phase here. There's my cover. Pretty excited that thing fired up right away. After I bumped it over and got fuel pressure, hooked up the plugs, just barely tapped the starter and it fired up. And everything seemed good. I don't see any leaks anywhere. Getting the water bled through it. Tape some stuff on the end of this thing for clearances. And then I shaped these various pieces of metal around where I want to go. Now I'm going to get some fiberglass. Glass that in and then bondo it up. Now let's do a little update. Got everything. I just fired it up. Got the fans turn on. Cooling system bled. She's on the ground. Boy, it's good to see this thing on the ground again. Got the hatch on it. And let's show you. The only thing that's not done is the wing's not on there. Rear diffuser. The blower barely fits. Got like a half an inch or so. Looks good. No oil leaks. I had a few water leaks. Been chasing, they're not in easy spots. I think I got that under control. Got my stereo working. I got some of the interior in it. rear view camera's upside down. Shift light. Boost gauge is up there. Everything looks good. Gotta adjust the shifter just a bit more. But I did check, make sure it goes in gear and moves. So belts obviously still need to go in. The waterfall. Which is done. I'm not going to do the hydro dip thing. I'm just staying into it right now. Maybe later. So I did in black. Should be good. Damn, it's good to have that thing on the ground again. So low and wide.